Hello, I'm Susan Sarandon. In the previous program of Mythos, Joe Campbell took us to the sacred caves of our early ancestors to find the first traces of mythological thinking, the artifacts of a race of hunters and gatherers. In this program, he moves through the first major transformation in humankind. It begins with the emergence of agriculture and culminates with the world's first great empire, Egypt. In a sense, this is a history lesson, a dangerous thing to say. Today, there seems to be no quicker way to dismiss something as unimportant than to label it history, or worse still, ancient history. Yet, with Joe, ancient history isn't simply something that happened to someone else a long time ago. It is something that happened to us as members of the human race. In the timeless images of these ancient cultures, we get a glimpse into our own spiritual lives and the lives of those who came before us.
Now, what I want to talk about this afternoon is the next great stage, the stage of the emergence of the city civilizations in the Near East, and we get into the historic processes. A remarkable thing happens in certain places at certain times, namely the timeless idyll of the nature religions yields to a temporally ordered process, so that civilizations emerge that have histories, a youth, a maturity, and an aging. And we'll see where we are on this cycle. I'm going to start here in South Turkey, Anatolia, as it's called, a little town called Çatalhöyük. There was a very important series of excavations here conducted by James Mellart. With this, the antiquity of planting cultures in the Near East was lowered down to about 10,000 BC. Here is the plain where Çatalhöyük is situated. Here's the kind of village you have. It reminds me a little bit of the Pueblo, houses right packed on each other. To take such a town by storm, you have to tear the buildings down. There's no way to get into the town except by way of the buildings themselves. And there are some 15 levels of these buildings at Çatalhöyük. This is one of the most important and oldest finds, and it is the key symbol of the main mythology of this area. Here you have the mother goddess back to back with herself. Here on the left, she is embracing an adult male, and here on the right, she holds a child. She is the transformer. Here we have our mother goddess in the center, where you have agriculture as the base. The goddess is going to be the primary mythological figure, personifying the energies of nature which transform past into future, transforming semen into child, seed into produce, and so forth. This is a small piece made of a green schist and found from a date 7,000 BC. This figure was found in a grain bin, and so it's associated with agriculture. It's a ceramic piece. It is of the goddess seated between two felines. You remember our association of the lion with the goddess? Having given birth, that's the head of a child. This is the goddess giving birth, and we can date this 7,000 to 6,000 BC. And now I'm going to take you to Rome, 100 AD, the Anatolian goddess. And Anatolia is exactly the place from which this figure, the earlier figure, has come, flanked by lions, seated on a throne, the sun disk in her hand, and on her head the crown, the walled city. Here the city has arisen. During the Carthaginian Wars, the cult of this Anatolian goddess was brought into Rome as one of the supporting powers to support the Roman cause. So here we have 6,000 years of this goddess. I want to move to Southeast Europe. Past 30 years or so, a tremendous amount of material has been excavated here. And there is a magnificent study of these materials by Maria Gimbutas. Her book is called Gods and Goddesses of Old Europe, 7,000 to 3,500 BC. This is very, very early stuff. And it's a period when the mother goddess is dominant. And I just want to run rather briefly, or rapidly, let me say, through a great series of the images associated with this area here. Northern Greece, principally, the Balkans, and the areas around the Danube, Dniester, and even a little bit the Volga. Here is a very early 6000 BC representation of the goddess. And there are a number of traits here that are essential. One is the towering neck. This is the world axis. She is the axis. Here is the bird figure on the top of the neck. She is bird goddess, spiritual goddess. Obviously a human female with the breasts. Here, associated with her, is the boar. Here is a pig goddess and the labyrinth. Ceramic serpent, all of the same order. Here's the whole mythology in a cluster in front of us here. There is a jar represented as the goddesses from Romania about 5000 BC, the labyrinth all over her. Here is another enthroned goddess, broken, but the labyrinth, and the navel, the world navel, that which connects to the mother. This is a male figure in the way of a ruler. Over his shoulder is a scepter in the shape of a reaping sickle. Here is a sickle of copper from that date, 5000 BC. So these are agricultural people harvesting a grain of some kind. Their tools are not weapons. These are heavy copper tools, and they are used for carpentry and or agriculture. These are peaceful cities. It's only later that the walls begin appearing that indicate raids coming in from outside. And we're approaching with these walls then the whole history, later history of the Near East.